Okay, so I got a question from one of you, and I'm very, very grateful for your questions and your input and your interactions with me. Do I carry a Doppler? And yes is the answer. Do I use the Doppler? Yes is the answer. Do I use it frequently? No. Most of my women, and I want to say about 95% of them, I will never ever use a Doppler with. I use a Doppler in a couple of strange situations. I use a Doppler when we have a low-lying placenta and I want to assess whether the placenta is, kind of moved up. And I'm concerned about when you have a low-lying placenta that's closer to the OS. So here's the OS, the opening of the uterus, and the placenta laying here. If we have a low-lying placenta, sometimes, or more frequently, we have the cord that lays across the OS. And I try my best to assess. So here's the woman's pelvic bone. It's below the OS there. I try to assess if I can hear the cord going across at all. So I like to use the Doppler for that. I can use my stethoscope for that, but it's not typical. My daughter's bringing my Doppler in here in a minute. I use a Doppler during labor when I just need a quick assessment of baby. I'm not super, I don't assess fetal heart tones every 15 minutes like most of the midwives do. You see here, this is my, this is called my prenatal bag, but I actually carry it with me to birth too. Here's my Doppler. We're gonna kind of have this conversation here. I do not think that Dopplers are benign. I think they're more dangerous than ultrasounds. They do cause tissue damage every time they're used. I actually shared that with you guys. It was one of your assignments that have already occurred. And we're going to talk about the Doppler a little bit more. So, and I was thinking I have a Doppler gel sitting right here. We're going to go through this bag another day because this is a cool bag. It's not a cool bag. It's actually a very annoying bag. Let's see. Yep, I just had a burst of my gel is not in here, so I can't actually assess that too much. All right. So we're going to talk about a Doppler doesn't actually hear a baby's heart tones. A Doppler hears an echo of the baby's heart tones. And there's a lot of feedback. So I'm looking to purchase a stethoscope that has a amplifier in the tubes. The reason is that I can record that what I'm actually hearing with my stethoscope, and then I can record what I can hear with the Doppler, and then show you guys and demonstrate the two different things. So with a Doppler, you're actually hearing an echo. You're not actually assessing the baby's heart tones at all. And during that echo, you can hear everything from, gas bubbles and the cord, and we can hear the placenta. We can hear all sorts of other things and assess that as if it were the fetal heart tones. And so that's kind of one of the dangers of Doppler. One of the false senses of security that we get that we need to diminish. Now, during very, very active labor, and I feel like, labor has been kind of rough and mom kind of needs to hear the baby's heart tones, I will grab my Doppler, put some gel on it, and assess baby real fast, especially during the hardest part of a contraction to see how the baby is tolerating the actual pressure and the molding. So that's something that I have been known to do, but not very often. Also, my heavier set women, the women that are 300 plus pounds, 400 plus pounds, I have a hard time finding fetal heart tones frequently, and we'll kind of assess that. I wish I had gotten some, I think I actually have some video of that, of the proper way to assess fetal heart tones, even with a stethoscope or a Doppler. How to move the proboscis, belly aside, and how to get in there and really assess a baby. And I have to wait till I have another heavy set woman to actually do a video there. So lots of conversations. So I want to kind of, so I don't have any gel in this, so it's not going to make any sound. That's the other thing too. If you don't use enough gel, it won't work. Or if your gel comes off, or if you drop it, you need to apply gel every time. You need to apply an ample amount of gel. So this is the one I'm using. I'm using an Eden SD3. I used to use a different one that actually displayed the heart tones for me. And then I actually panicked on one woman because I was getting fetal heart tones of like 130, of 218 And I actually took her to the hospital. We get to the hospital and they were only 180. And that was still kind of, still kind of high. I'm kind of grateful we went to the hospital. We transported. Baby was fine. Born vaginally. I actually got to catch in the Shawnee Hospital. It's a different conversation. But the concern there was my assessment valid because I was trusting the screen, or should I have counted? And I should have counted. So I was actually leaning on that screen, the visualization of what the fetal heart tones were, too much. I kind of gotten lazy, and I now prefer the ones that has no display screen. I would like to just count. And the way we count, and I'll teach this to you again when we do the fetoscope, and we actually have that in person. I'm waiting for a volunteer. So what we do is we take a stopwatch on your phone. We assess heart tones, and as soon as we have heart tones good, we or somebody else will push the start button. And we do not look at this very frequently. We just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then when this hits 15 seconds, we remember the number that we have in our head, and then we multiply that by 4, and that comes up with fetal heart tones. To me, that is a much more accurate way to assess heart tones. Also, one of my big spiels I talk to moms about, they kind of get it. I teach moms to assess fetal heart tones with stethoscopes and fetoscopes, and Bernard horns. The reason is that this Doppler does not sound like a baby. It doesn't sound like a human heartbeat. We can kind of separate in our minds that this is not a human. We can say, oh, this is a fetus, or this is something else. When you listen with a fetoscope or stethoscope or Bernard horn, it sounds just like a human heartbeat, just faster. And so it really brings the humanity to the baby that I really, really prefer. And I like to reinforce that with family members. So if we have a grandmother that's coming to visit, or if we have an uncle that's coming to visit, anybody the mother feels close enough to that she doesn't mind having her belly exposed in front of, I will actually teach everyone to assess fetal heart tones with a stethoscope, fetoscope, or a Doppler, or a Bernard horn. And so the answer to the question was, do I ever use a Doppler? I do. Especially if I've got a lot of extra weight or tissue that I've got to listen through. If I've got a malpositioned baby, or if I'm having, for some other reason, difficulty finding the baby. I've actually used it a few times to assess whether or not I had a breech baby, because I was finding heart tones all over the abdomen. And I wasn't sure if we had a breech baby, or I use it also when I assess for twins. It's just another tool, but be aware that when your tools have side effects, or when your tools are not completely safe, use them sparingly and only when necessary. Okay. But they are a good assessment. They do serve a purpose. Just realize that any cell that's in the process of cellular division can be damaged. And that's kind of the short and sweet of it, is the vibration. That ultrasonic vibration can actually cause that cell to not line up properly and actually die. And then the baby has to then, and you too, because you're using it on your body, but the baby has more dividing cells than you do. That baby has to then dispose of that dead cell. So there's that complication there. I shared all this research. It's real research. It's not conspiracy theory. It's the actual research done. And originally, the research I read many, many years ago that made me practice this way was this. When they ran the Doppler, or it was this actually ultrasound, over top of mice brain cells that were in the process of cellular division, those brain cells actually died and did not finish the cellular mitosis. And so that was pretty remarkable to me. And then if you place that, like ADHD and autism, some of the other things that we're facing in today's environment, we cannot rule that out because it has not been investigated well enough. And there is some research to suggest that there is a possibility that that's part of the problem. If we can do anything else that has no risk, I suggest that we try the no risk section first, as opposed to just going straight to what's easy or lazy for us. It's fun, it's easy, it's fast, it doesn't take a whole lot of skill. Yeah, but that's not what this is about. That's not what midwifery is about. It's not what all this is about. It's not about doing this as easy as possible. It's about first do no harm, and then, contribute to health instead of taking health away. So, all right, guys. Thanks for joining me today, and hopefully I'll get some more of these videos out. We kind of figured out a way that it's not taking me 6 hours to load up each video now, so I'm hoping this will increase my productivity. So for now, talk to you later. Bye.